Okay. So Loki has been very good in a lot of shells. We have not played it in an artifact deck yet. I wasn't actually necessarily planning to play Erayo until I started to build the deck, but it kind of came together pretty well. Um, the idea is your Loki enablers are Claws, Amber, and then you get to play double Minamo in this build. Minamo can trigger Loki on both turns. You can untap itself and untap it on your turn. I've thought about even playing three. I'm just playing two for now, but this feels like a really good quantity of Loki enablers, especially with Emry being able to replay some of these. Playing Claws over Relic because of Emry mostly. And I think in this deck with all the cheap card draw, your ability to like find a Ryo and flip it is really pronounced. Maybe you should be playing two instead of three. Um, I think we need to play like at least one Kappa Cannoneer as a finish ride, two in an earlier draft, decided to go down to three. It's not all that good because you don't have like the artifact generators that make a bunch of tokens, but I think as a way to close out these games that you're controlling makes sense. And the idea is you are trying to control the games with, with a Ryo and Loki as like kind of similar two drops that like give you a bunch of card advantage if you have your engine going. And the counter magic plays really well with both Erayo and Loki, where if you have a flipped Erayo, being able to counter their second spell is huge. And then if you can slow them down with counter magic, your Loki gets to take over the game. Found room for a couple Boomerang Basics. Hard to play many more copies than this. And we also get to play 6 Basics. Being mono blue. This is kind of one issue with splashing a color in the the affinity builds are fast enough against the Ponza deck that they don't care that much about the basics. Obviously they care some. They play like 2 usually. But this deck is a lot slower, so you can't get underneath the Ponza deck, so you got to play the basics, which makes it hard to splash red for like Steel Cutter. Not the biggest deal ever. Okay, we have a turn 1 Emry with Minamo to untap the Emry. This is a classic. If my Emry dies, my hand kind of sucks. Hardest with the 33 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Appreciate you. I'm on a multi 6. My opponent's thinking. They think that they'll keep their 7. At least we have the Urza Saga. Is this Corey? No, Corey's name is like Bonk something, right? So I'm actually gonna main phase the Bauble so I could draw Spell Pierce and protect my Emry. My opponent showed me Pelucrados, the World Eater. Okay, so they're playing Pelucranos as a green sun target and Trudge. Doesn't really make that much sense or any sense, but whatever. So there's a Claws. I guess we're just gonna go cast a Bauble. Untap the Emry. I think we'll cast Opal. Cast the Claws and still crack. All right. Nice, I can play Tamiyo without it costing more for making my Otawara cost more. My opponent does a little oopsie with the bridge. And then they concede the game. Okay. I was about to offer a pass back. That's fine. So, I mean, this is just Trudge with... I guess it could be like World War Trudge instead. Let's see. So I guess we'll bring in the Vexing Bauble to stop the hideaway stuff. The Loki or the Arios may be good against this too. Force of Negation, interesting. I guess we don't know that they're an Eldrazi version, so maybe I don't want to play the Consigns. Harbinger might also be good in that situation. Needle could stop Bridge if they're more on Bridge. I don't know. Kind of weird. I'm gonna go down an Opal. They're gonna bring a bunch of like 4-mana destroy all artifacts too. So maybe I just do want the forces seem like they make sense. And then I think I'll cut the Lavaspur Boots. Oh, Lavaspur Boots also triggers Loki. I forgot to mention that in the deck tech. Kind of excited about that. I think that the Kappa is good against them. But I think we're not. I think it's a little slow, and like I think we're winning most of our games, like just by locking them out of the game and then constructing them to death. Okay, interesting hand. I don't love that I can't really hold up Spell Pierce turn 1. Like this hand has to play Emry basically, or sorry, Tamiyo turn 1. But I think I'll keep. They're on a multi 6. They're on the play. Yeah, I could bring a Needle for Pelucranos. Yeah, they have another turn 1 bridge. So, like, 2 turn 1 bridges makes me think that they... And also, to some extent, Pelucranos, I guess, makes me think that they are a World War Hulk build instead of the Eldrazi build. The World War Hulk build we did have a good league with, but it does seem like the Eldrazi build is better. Spike doesn't weapons claw fit perfectly into this deck. I would not say perfectly, no. It's very important to stay monocolor because of Ponza with the slow build. You have to also play explosives. And I don't know, like you get, if you have both, you get 1 Loki trigger a turn. I don't feel like that's perfectly. So we mill a Mox Amber. So we don't have a Loki enabler yet. Although they are, I guess they just have the bridge twice. They are the Eldrazi version after all. So I'm actually gonna Spell Pierce this so they don't get the 4 mana from the Fnatic this turn, and maybe I can go sink the Fnatic next turn. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go play Mox Amber. And then we're just gonna go play Loki, play Saga, and then sink the Fnatic. Attack for 0. Do you think you could make Lancer Control work with Loki? Absolutely not. I'm so sorry. Affinity is a tier 1 modern deck. Everyone has a million shatter everythings. Beyond that, people are main decking Wrath the Skies. People have Besages in the main deck. People, it's like, I just the format is unbelievably bad for Wrath the Skies. It's sickening how unplayable it is. A K command me? They make spawns and scry draw, okay. And also, like, a bunch of card draw isn't even very good in, into fight rigging. A bunch of card draw isn't even, like, good into, in Lancer control. I don't know. That's not, like, the problem is a card advantage engine. That's a creature. My opponent says that's a misclick. I guess I don't think that was in relation to this, but 7 lands, bottom 2, hit 5. Oh my gosh. Opponent's having a hard one. I think I'd be a little bit more interested in flipping Tamiyo than... Ooh. I guess... Okay, I'm gonna hold that. Keep the Vexing Bauble in play. Doesn't Bauble stop all the hideaway stuff? Yeah, I was just gonna replay it off the Emry because I didn't have a thing to replay. Maybe this is worse than second a clue. I guess now the fight rigging actually lets them play a land for turn, which is kind of funny. And then they don't do that. Yeah, they could have played the land. I guess maybe they just want to grow the Arbor. Okay, so my Vexing Bauble turns off my Mishra's Bauble. However, I could just sack the Vexing Bauble for a turn here. I do think making a construct is going to be pretty important. I cited out my Lavaspur Boots. I think I just get Aether Spellbomb. I'll probably leave this uncracked for now. So let's go Aether Spellbomb, the Fnatic back to their hands. Draw a card off the Loki. Play Urza Saga for turn. Replay the Aether Spellbomb. Take up the Tamiyo. And I think in their upkeep, I'm going to bounce the Dryad Arbor. Draw a card. So Loki is kind of just Basim, but a little different. I mean, you can trigger on both turns pretty often, which Basim can only trigger on your turn. Basim gets bigger. Loki is mono blue. Loki can triggers off stuff that's already in play. So Basim needing you to draw something in your hand or have something in your hand. So we're going to match 2. Thought this was a MDFC for a second. I guess we're gonna go 5. 5 again. Okay. This would be an awesome 6 where I could play turn 1 Emry with Spell Pierce up. My opponent's on a multi-6 as well. I think I'm just going to try to be able to draw a different 0 to be able to do that. I can't do that if I draw Opal, I guess. Don't have that many 0s to draw into because I bottomed the Bauble. My opponent is on probably Grixis Reanimator. So the 4 main deck Claws end up being pretty good. That would also be a good top deck. I could play Claws plus Opal and Emry. So I guess I'm going to go just Island Go. My opponent graveyarded Oculus and Archon, so kind of need to be able to Spell Pierce here. Yeah, I think you could do some kind of Lookout Valakut build. I don't think it's like very exciting though, unfortunately. I do keep having these matchups where I'm main decking all these relics, or in this case the claws, and I just do not I just do not draw any. I guess I have 2 opals in the yard. I guess, yeah, okay. If they were a different artifact, we could keep this. If they have the persist, we'll go to game 2. If this had been a 6-card hand, this game maybe looks different. Yeah, okay. Should be a good matchup. We have the 4 claws. We don't have any graveyard hate in the sideboard because they're all in the main deck. I do think Test of Talents is kind of nice since they'll bring in some meltdowns. In addition to just getting the unearth, so the persist can be kind of good. And then maybe also, I think this is also a match where we just don't need like the grind that Kappa Cannoneer gives us. This is a matchup where we just lock them out and win. I think that makes sense as well. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. So we're on the play for game 2 against Grixis Reanimator. We do have a 1-lander. Gonna be a mulligan, though. Alright, this is definitely what we're looking for. I'm going to put back the second copy of Sync. Maybe I want to play Sync turn 1 to play around Thoughtseize. I think I'd be okay if they Thoughtseize the Sync. Is there a specific matchup Test of Talents in sideboard 4? Test of Talents comes in a lot. You like it against every Cascade deck. You like it against every deck with Wrath Disguise, especially like the Gorios and the Blink decks, where they like getting their Ephebrates, getting their Fatal Pushes. It can be fine, but also just getting their Wrath Disguise is really, really nice. It's good against Storm. It's just a great sideboard card. We played as Labinius 3 in the sideboard before. I liked it. Claws is better than Relic. It's better than Relic when you have Emry in your main deck. Do they have Spell Pierce? They have Consign, maybe? Any more testing with Kid Loki? I want to play it in the Professor Cauldron deck we top 8'd with. Apparently somebody else already did that. Doesn't mean we can't try it too. They have Dispute. I would rather them dispute the Emry than the Loki, I guess. They do have the disputes. Okay, I'm gonna go and play out the Aether Spellbomb so that I have protection for Loki in play next turn. Hopefully they don't have another a Thoughtseize or another Counterspell. Have I revisited Badger Ball combo Shang-Chi? We have. We maybe want to recircle back to it with being more in on Shang-Chi. There's some people having success with that plan. Also, Claws can trigger twice on a turn cycle by itself, compared to Relic, which can only do once. So I may... Let's see what we draw. If I draw a land, I could go Tamiyo sack the Aether Spellbomb. Flip. I think just holding up mana with the Spell Pierce has got to be right now. So it's okay if they're frogging because we got the engine going online. Can bounce the frog potentially. Could draw a card if we did that. Maybe end of turn. Yeah, Kid Loki with Boon Shadow does sound pretty fun. Yeah, being able to pierce a meltdown seems pretty nice. So they graveyard Ace Archon of Cruelty. Then they persist. So I could sack the Claws to play around a counterspell of some kind. I think I'm going to do that because they thought on the 8th Mox Amber like they had something here. Oh right, sorry. This mode doesn't trigger Loki. Is Loki worth trading the frog? Is Loki worth trading the frog? Well, I'm not going to trade Loki for frog. It's never a possibility, so I'm a little confused by the question. Fro says, forgot how to read, and then they fatal push. Or do a kid Loki, maybe? Moonshadow doesn't get... Oh, that right. It doesn't get +1 counters. It removes -1 counters. So maybe Super Shredder. Super Shredder Kid Loki, then? Importer. There's also maybe, what's it called? Ledger Shredder. Could be good in there. Okay, let's spell pierce this. Kid Shredder isn't the best name. Or is it? Are they going to discard their last card? They are not. Kind of feel like I want to still bounce this so I can just flip the Tamiyo. The flipping is amazing. I mean, it's okay. If they like kill my if they get back Loki to kill the Tamiyo, I think that's an okay plan. Could also maybe hold up Sync if I draw a land. That'd be okay. Did draw a land. Yeah, it seems okay. We could get like an extra card too. Maybe even flipping the Tamiyo's bad in this game. Yeah, I think Emperor's a well-designed card. One of the few MH3 cards that I like a lot. Their hand is Frog Mystery card. They do exile my Loki. Maybe recognizing that if they adapt end of turn, they can kill a flip Tamiyo. Could maybe bounce the Loki back to my hand. I do think just like bouncing the frog is going to be the move here. They might have a spell pierce though. Okay, they don't. Or if they did, they chose not to use it. All right, so we get our card. Okay, can counter the frog now. Is it weird that Emperor is in Legendary more than one Emperor Bones? Reminds me of Dark Souls 2. There's like a skeleton king boss, and there's like 4 of them. They're all kings together. I don't know if it's some kind of trope that skeletons share the royal line. Honestly, if they just adapted the Emperor earlier, like taking so much damage to it. Another island, not so good. Good news is we're getting 2 cards a turn here. Isn't it crazy Tamiyo costs 1 mana? Stash with the 47 months. Hope you're doing well. So if they flashback looting, are we going to just spell pierce it next turn? Probably. Oh. Oh, they're adapting. Okay. I guess I can untap the Tamiyo with Minamo to block the 2/1. Too bad I don't have another bounce spell to bounce the Loki back to my hand. Drawing 2 cards a turn with Minamo too. Ah, they have an Oculus. Okay, good thing we're gonna lose unless we draw Loki into like Minamo or Otawara rather. Pretty flooded this game. Do we multiply both games? I think we was 5 then 6. So I guess I want to cycle this first. So when I'm not suicide attacking the frog, or sorry, the Tamiyo. I guess we want to tap the Opal too. Sorry, tap here, target them. So this is our first card drawn this turn. We draw another Tamiyo. Flip the Tamiyo. Not enough. Okay. Tough match. Would think the matchup would be pretty good with the 4 mainnet claws. You know what? It doesn't do nothing. it doesn't do anything against some cards in their deck, but it's actually pretty reasonable against them still. So I guess I put back the Bauble and try to go for the turn 2 Erayo flip. But it's actually fine against them. Like it counters their pitch cards, it counters the big stuff that they're casting. It's weirdly fine. Okay, so we're gonna be pretty weak if my opponent. I guess we're not that weak. We can still flip the Erayo next turn. Atrax is old. Yeah, maybe I'm misremembering when it came out. Frog were legal together, so okay, maybe I'm misremembering. I thought that Atraxa came out after Image 3. People slept on Frog too. The thing is, people didn't sleep on Frog. I knew Frog was like a good card. I was saying Frog was a good card, but like when Frog came out, Nadu was legal, Amped Raptor was legal, the One Ring was legal. You're not sleeping on it. It's just there's better shit to be doing. Like the power level of the format had to come down. Are they holding up Thraben Charm? It's really annoying if they are. Let me go to combat. I played Goria before Mischief Emry. I know, but I thought I couldn't remember if that was with Traxer or not. It all blends together. So it seems like my opponent is. Okay, this is one. It seems like they're holding up Thraben Charm. They must be, right? So let's see if they kill the Tamiyo in response to this. I don't exactly know that they would. So I guess now I can go play the Erayo. Try to flip Erayo. Successfully flip Erayo. I guess they just have Felia and they fucked up. Yeah, okay. Okay. So sack the clue, we'll flip the Tamiyo. Not a bad turn 2. Yeah, definitely a Felia. Would have actually been really good against the flipped Tamiyo there. Or flipped Erayo. The Tamiyo locking down the Pride. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of trying to use Thraben Charm on the Erayo too. Also, should Boros be playing Witch Enchanter? This is probably blue-white energy, right? I wonder if Boros should play Witch Enchanter post Flage Ban. So if my opponent plays Felia this turn, I could minus on Boomerang Basics and just bounce it. Lose the Tamiyo though. Phantom? The fuck? Okay, I don't know what they were trying to do then. Plenty of basics. Interesting they didn't target Minamo. Minamo's way better than Sync in play. Sync's actually better in the graveyard because of Tamiyo. Given it, and Tamiyo, have consider it in the Submariner deck, maybe in place of Wasp. I have 2 copies and a Dimir build of Namor. Wait, I meant to play Namor after the Mono Black. Okay, maybe we'll play that next. I do have a couple copies in the new version. Yeah, maybe you want to be playing basics instead. It's true. Boros's best draw, stop at 3 lands, TBH. I don't think this is never a good attitude to be like, I never want to play more than 3 drops. The games are gonna end really fast. It's like Witch Enchanter is a land that it can get you out of some sticky situations. The card is very good. You can pay the life really easily. You also like main deck Legend of Roku for the most part now, so that's not even like super true. So they play Felia now, then they have a second Felia. Okay, so I'm gonna have to pick up a bounce spell. But my Tamiyo only goes to 5 loyalty, so I actually can save my Tamiyo. Or sorry, my Tamiyo doesn't die rather. If it needs more point towards which enchantment I can playing it. Yeah, I don't know, but I like this attitude of like I'm just gonna end the game before turn 3. It's just it's never a good attitude, I think. Then now we even get to I guess I did discount actually, sorry. I don't know why I think I just actually totally forgot about the minus cost. But thankfully we had this. So my opponent's hand is 2 so they have Consign. So they can go Felia. They can go Felia, Consign the trigger. Maybe they're gonna try to do that at instant speed, which is pretty bad against my double Spell Pierce hand. Yeah, I guess they should just send everything at Tamiyo and Tamiyo dies. And they're not doing that. I've been tricking 1 Boros since Image 3. I've lost multiple games needing 5 or 6 land. Yeah, is this attitude of I only need 3 lands to win is I've seen it in other decks. It's just not a good attitude to have. The attack is pretty free. Can untap with the Minamo. I do have second Minamo, a little awkward. Yeah, I guess they can. I guess they could replicate it twice to stop me here. Will they double replicate Consign? Okay. Ah, okay. So now they're going to with Okay. Okay, this is cool. We were all confused, but they were cooking. To be fair, the Shadow said Forest best draw stop at 3 mana, but it's just not. It's true. It's true. Your best draw stop at 3 mana, but that you have to plan for not having your best draws every time. And Witch Enchanter is part of that. And Witch Enchanter is part of like you have your best draws. Your opponent has Wrath the Skies. You know, in the Borosmere they have Wrath, and then you have an extra creature and that can kill Goblin Bombardment and can kill Legend of Roku in the mirror. Now us having double Swell Pierce is nice here. Yeah, it is. It is interesting that Legend of Roku is just kind of quietly like the best red 4-drop ever printed. Okay, so this is going after this Tamiyo trigger, which is what is this? This is the This is the Ocelot Pride trigger, and then one of them is probably going to go after the White Orchid Phantom one, and then the other I guess will go after a Tamiyo one. Troll the 34. Thank you. Welcome back. Why does Boros still play Arena and 12 fetches without Phage? Well, fetch lands are really, really good because of Surveil lands is kind of the short answer. That being said, I think you could play more utility lands. And Arena is really good with Voice of Victory. So that's kind of it, honestly. Wait. They're all going after the Tamiyo? They're all going after this Tamiyo? Am I reading this wrong? They must have messed up. I mean, no point in spell piercing. Ghost detected that. You wouldn't do this if you were ghosting. You would target the Erayo trigger. Just seems like the interface is not very intuitive. I guess I'm playing my 1/1 blocker and attacker. The game's not gonna be that different because like I did have the double spell pierce to blow them out, and I'm unlikely to, at this point now. I'm just never gonna cast them. Yeah, they're probably just a little bit new to Magic Online and messing up with the interface. There does seem to be a lot there in deck. I mean, it's always the case with these like Emry Tamiyo piles. It is true. Oh, sorry, I could have untapped the Tamiyo. Do I want to bounce? I feel like if I bounce something, I'm just letting them get something through the Erayo. Oh, I also probably should have attacked with this. I'm gonna sack on my turn, though. Maybe it's interesting to minus on sync. Minus on sync and flip the new Tamiyo with Boomerang Basics. Sync is just so good with Flip Erayo. It just like it's just kind of a time walk. Could this deck play Fantastic card? No, it's not legal in Modern, thankfully. Thank Clothis, that card is not legal. Have I tried a Loki Namor build yet? I don't believe that there is one, right? They just trigger off the not this they don't trigger off of any of the same cards. Besides like Threads of Disloyalty. Or I don't even know if that counts. They just don't trigger all the same stuff at all. Okay, well, obviously Spell Pierce doesn't do anything. It's already being countered. Do I care about this? It does not do anything. And I just have the Aether Spellbomb, so I guess I don't care. Actually, weird that they prioritized resolving Guide of Souls over Teferi Time Raveler. That actually doesn't make any sense. Sewer Cam. So Sewer Cam draws one card off of Namor. That it is something. It is something because I didn't. But I think with the Otawara and Sync, it's okay to bounce there. Oh right, they just get to replay immediately. I don't have the active Erayo. Although I get to bait the Phantom on my Minamo. Brewed around basic synthesizer? I have not, no. The deck looks sweet to get to do anything at all. The Zemo deck, we won yesterday with it. That we played against main deck Relic Blood Moon, main deck Rest in Peace Ponza, which is just like two nightmare matchups. And we could have kept playing. Yeah, I really messed this up here. We could have kept playing, but I decided to move on. The matchups were not very enviable. Okay, we are just drawing air. Maybe actually I'm supposed to chump with this Erayo, so... Yeah, chump with the Erayo to get the Tamiyo ultimate off. Although, is Tamiyo ultimate even something I want to do? The Tamiyo +2 is kind of better than the ultimate. Fantastic card would have been a fun modern card. I absolutely disagree, but that's okay. Could disagree. I really dislike when cards are just they're bad at multiplayer. They're really pushed because like attacking and blocking in multiplayer is just not all that good. Casting 4 non-creature spells in multiplayer is tougher because you have less consistency. So they're really, really pushed because they're designed for multiplayer, but they're not playable in multiplayer. And then they end up being way too good in single player constructed. I think it ends up being so annoying that these cards exist. Why is Pawns the Plague main deck rip? Someone won a challenge with it. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. I don't think it makes 0 sense either. You're talking about Broadside Bombardiers. I am talking about that. I'm talking about a lot of cards. I feel like a lot of cards meet this criteria. So I guess I bounce the guide in response, so then they don't get any life gain. Yeah, bouncing the Phantom was so bad. I agree. We're just Try to get around now. Can ultimate the Tamiyo next turn. The quantity of air we've drawn has been kind of astounding. Maybe Otawara is better to play there. Although the Otawara maybe is just going to be 1 mana next turn. I don't know. Okay, well, there's our Loki. As soon as we immediately draw half of our deck. So I'm going to play Urza Saga. Now we won't be able to flip the Tamiyo this turn. Still seems fine to play it. We have a Kappa Cannoneer we could be digging for, so I think it's fine to play the Emry. Emry also like blocks pretty well. There's no Kappa Cannoneer. I'll play Erayo, which will let it. Oh, damn it! That was so bad. It's a mill extra 4 cards here. Although maybe I'm just digging for Kappa. That's not what's happening, but. Do I want to bounce anything main phase? I think I'll be replaying a second Amber. So right now I have Otawara plus Counterspell up. I guess I need to play a Bauble here to have the Counterspell up. Yeah, I don't think a misclick counts as a punt either. It's whatever, not really something that matters. This is game 1 still. So I guess if the Kappa Cannoneer is too deep in the deck, like if it's literally the last card, we might lose. Deck with the Pride is a little weird. We probably wouldn't have constructs. Yeah, I guess we are going to get 2 a turn. Yeah, I should be fine. If you misclick to lose a game, it's a punt. It doesn't fucking matter. But I guess I just have always felt like a punt is a misplay and a misclick is a misclick, and they're 2 distinct things. Does not matter at all. So I really don't want to play Loki because I don't want to be drawing the extra cards. I'm gonna bounce a token. I want to draw at least 1 more card so I can flip the Tamiyo again, but still no Kappa. It's okay. So let's attack with Tamiyo. Flip the Tamiyo. This is probably the turn to like redeploy our Mox in. Fast over Kappa. You know what? You might be cooking. I do think they're just gonna die to constructs, even if nothing if we never draw the Kappa. The counterspells are like time walks here. We can pick up the time walks with the Tamiyo. Can we win? I mean, we're what do you mean can we win? We're about to make a bunch of 10-10s. It's gonna be okay. So they're marching my Erayo. Somehow, the double spell pierce ended up working. they can jump for days though. They're never resolving a spell this game. Nor could they, even if they had spells to resolve. They're never getting in for any damage, and they're never resolving a spell. It's probably fine to get a Lavaspur Boots out of the deck here. One of our cards is a Kappa Cannoneer. Still in the deck. Oh my gosh, I have Lavaspur Boots instead of Skateboard. Okay, it should be Skateboard, but it's okay. Honestly, Boots is a little bit better in this build. Like, I do think Ward 1 does matter a little bit more in this build than it usually does, but you should still play Skateboard. We update the Mox field so y'all don't mess up on the copying. What did I mention? I guess I just missed your mention in it. Oh, Skateboard also triggers Loki ETB, that's true. I think when I was doing the deck tech, I also said Skateboard. I must have just like brain farted when putting it together. They have one card in their hand. We counter the first spell they play each turn. Sink a cat token. Bouncing something and replaying Spellbomb seems better than replaying Bauble. It's okay, we can get rid of all their blockers this turn. We do not. This is not a nitpick kind of board state. They're dead. Yeah, this is game one. Easy game. So I'm going to bring in the Test of Talents, can get Ephemerate and Wrath Disguise. Do I want the Shadowspear? I don't think so. Do I want Disputes? Kind of. They hit Teferi, they hit Riddler, they hit their own counter magic. Probably a little narrow. I'm gonna cut the Skateboard. I think it's okay. I think the Spell Pierce is a bit better than the Disputes. You play one Dispute over second basics, sure. White Tested Talents. They're gonna bring in Wrath Disguise, and then if we can counter Wrath Disguise, they don't have any more Wraths. So then it can also hit Ephemerators. So they have other cards that can snag in the matchup too. So it's not like that's the only text on the card. Yeah, well, it was a kind of a grindy game. Dispute seems better than Talents hitting Riddler to Fairy. I mean, I'm mostly bringing in Test of Talents because of Wrath Disguise, which is a card I am scared more of than Riddler and Teferi. Like, I think the Test of Talents has to be brought in, and then you can make an argument for playing, like, maybe a second Dispute over a second Boomerang Basics. Also, my opponent has, like, what, 7 minutes on the clock for games 2 and 3? 9 minutes? Okay, I thought they had less. Still. This hand's really juicy. Just Minamo plus Loki plus the extra mana is really nice. I'm gonna try it. My opponent's on a mull to 6. They're on the play. If we could draw a Mox or Mishra's Bauble, that would be so sick here. Could have a Pride on turn 1. I think I'm going to just cycle Boomerang Basics here. A second Mox Amber. They graveyard a second Pride, so they maybe they're a little land light here. Okay, well, hard to say no to a flip Tamiyo. Sorry, flip Erayo. Sometimes they play Subtlety. I guess we couldn't Subtlety, though. Actually messed up to... I should have played the other Amber first so I could have floated a second mana to play Loki this turn. Oops. That being said, I've got to flip Erayo. It's pretty good. They Graveyard of Solitude. Draw an Aether Spellbomb. Do I play Loki or do I hold up Counterspell? Let's hold up the counter magic. You can play Loki, hold up Dispute. Yeah, but being able to counter like Wrath this turn feels pretty important. Just like very online. I may bounce Pride end of turn, we'll see. Yeah, I think they're gonna cast Wrath Disguise. Maybe March? March would be awesome because they'd spin an extra card, although I guess they could technically have a blue counterspell up still. That'll be their whole hand, so maybe we don't need Flip Erayo if that's their whole hand. Okay, they overpaid. Maybe this was on purpose to play around Spell Snare? So while making a construct seems good, I don't think I really need to. I think I get the claws. The legend rule of the Mox, I just have hardcast Dispute up, which I think is important. I can let one more Pride trigger comes in, and so if they play a land, no, bouncing the prize is just too risky because I can let them resolve a good spell. Okay, good card to know about. So I guess if we know one of their cards is Riddler, I can comfortably bounce the Pride end of turn. Or if they play a land as the other card to trigger Kitty's Blessing. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give them the trigger, and I'm just gonna Spellbomb. We have claws of Relics of Emry. Yes, I feel like it's pretty normal, right? Oh, very punished for playing my land first. It actually might cost us a lot. Yeah, it's gonna cost us a lot. So they play the Flagstones before tapping mana. Claws does not give Loki a trigger on sack. Loki only it doesn't target a player; it targets a card in the graveyard. So they could resolve a warped Riddler here. They don't go for it. Their hand is Pride Riddler Mystery card. They could have also resolved a Pride if they preferred. I may be trading a Loki for a cat. I mean, Loki will also have drawn me like 1,000 cards. I think I am going to. Yeah, then we take 3, then we take 2 next turn. It's cutting it kind of close. You could play Riddler. What about Legend of Karuk also as a card advantage spell? Thoughts on the Hollow and Practice Offense decks? I think we played it. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I like those decks. All right, I'm gonna trade my 2 cards a turn for a 1/1. Good trade. I make that deal. So they warp the Riddler into the Erayo. And then they play Pride. I mean, if they warp another Riddler, I don't care. So I guess I'm just going to try to save the higher quality counterspell here. Although maybe they would have, maybe counterspell is a card I'd care about. Yeah, I don't really care about this. Thoughts on Deceit with Loki? I mean, it triggers Loki. It's there's I don't. Is there much to even think about there? They have a little bit of synergy. It's not enough synergy to build a deck around. Okay, Emry's a great draw. They have some synergy though. I don't need to counter this. I can just sink it or Aether Spellbomb next turn. So yeah, it can just resolve. It's raining cats and dogs, huh? I would have opal to make a construct. We talk about we can make a construct. Oh my gosh, I didn't block with the Emry. I played this game really bad, but we're still gonna win. A lot of like dumb brain farts and mistakes. I think this one's okay to counter. So the Aether Spellbomb is in the graveyard. I think I'm just getting another Mox. To make a construct on my turn? Well, why does making a construct on my turn matter? That I don't understand. If I needed to sync, you need to? Why would I need to sync over Counterspell? I guess I just had the option to sync over Counterspell. And is Felly a mystery card? I guess I could have attacked. No, I could with the Minamo. We could have untapped the Emry, but I want to hold up the instance. Okay, well there's Kappa, which I don't actually think I'm gonna cast this turn. How's it feeling? Have we done the thing? What thing? Flip Erayo? We have flipped Erayo. So they're gonna play Felia. I'm gonna Aether Spellbomb it. I think I just wait. I don't know. What's the rush? Have we flipped Erayo? Yes. We flipped Erayo. What's the rush? Finishing this league today? Who cares? Yeah, I might do something next turn. We'll see. So this is my second card draw on this turn. How interested in flipping Tamiyo are we? Somewhat. I don't think I'm going to play a Kappa. Okay, they're going to concede. Okay, we're 2-1. This hand needs to draw both a 0 and a land to get there. It's too much to ask. Although now we're on a multi 5. Okay, turn 1 Emry, I guess, is our keep. I think I'm gonna put back the second land so I can keep the Erayo. Also, Emry plus Erayo flips pretty fast. Although we're on the draw on our Mold of 5 against Prowess, probably. I guess it could be Affinity. Affinity is not a great matchup either. Any ideas for Runetail Kitsunu's Attendant? When you have 30 or more life, prevent all damage dealt to creatures you control. Seems not that good, unfortunately. So this is their turn 1. Just make a bunch of flyers. Let us see, who do you think King T'Challa has a chance of modern? I kind of want to play T'Challa plus Aang in the shell, like just those two. So I need to find a Tamiyo to contain the drone tokens at some point. So their card is a spell. So I don't know what spell. Maybe weapons? Okay, well there's Tamiyo. Maybe I play Claws this turn. No, I want the 0 mana card draw. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I didn't play around this Tormod script. So I think their hand is weapons. Weapons Midnight. Could it be Rebuke? Probably not. It can't be Rebuke. They play the Midnight. Oh, they held a second Midnight? Interesting. I guess maybe that makes some sense against the Emry. So I guess I attack this turn with the intention of flipping Tamiyo just by finding a mana source next turn. And playing Erayo this turn. And probably not trading Erayo for a 1/1. They have no cards in their hand. Although if I do trade Erayo for a 1/1 this turn, oh dude, that's the best possible draw. Although it's only really scary if they draw another land next turn. I do have 2 Erayos. Are they going to send the Midnights in? They do send the Midnights in, so obviously we block here. Being at 6 and 7 is a pretty big difference. Like I'm just alive if I brick on the Tamiyo mana sources. So I draw Claws. So I bricked on the first one. Got a lot of mana sources in the deck. There we go. I could sack Claws here so I can maintain Metalcraft. I think I'd like to do that. Can also get both of these cards out of the graveyard for possible Emry, very minor. So we're flipping the Tamiyo. Now I can play a new Tamiyo. Or I could replay Claws. I think I'd just rather play new Tamiyo. So this game is really easy if they don't draw a land this turn. Or it's much easier, I should say. Maybe not really easy. Okay, looks like they did not draw a land. They drew a Bauble, okay. They crack the Bauble. They look at their top card. Mev, this is your 3rd time today asking for big booms. Your 3rd time asking for big booms. I will be giving no big booms, unfortunately. $19.84. I think I will play the... no, it's probably better to hold the Erayo just for spell count and then just play the Claws this turn. And then sack 2 clue tokens in a turn if we don't use the counterspell. Interesting. Drones could have game blocked Tamiyo. They could have. That's true. Does my opponent have a main deck Needle? They do have a main deck Needle. I have a lot of ways to bounce it, but we don't have any in our hand, of course. They name Tamiyo Seasoned Scholar. They have no lands in play. They have 1 mana floating. Yeah, I'm going to counterspell that. Don't counterspell too many Mox Opals. They play Shadowspear after this. We still have the active Tamiyo. Sack a clue. Draw Saga, okay. So right now I can play 3 spells. Let's go ahead and draw a card. Okay, so we can flip. We can flip Erayo. I guess I can flip Erayo and leave the Tamiyo back. Take 4, and the next turn I'm taking 3. That's lethal. Oh, it's not lethal because I can make a construct. So this is spell number 2, right? Or sorry, this is spell number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have a Erayo flipped. We can draw 2 cards off the claws that they're in step as we dig for second Otawara, one of our 4 copies of Sync, one of our 2 copies of Boomerang Basics for the Pithing Needle. That's the easiest way to get unstuck here. I don't have a Shadowspear off the Saga either. I do have an Aether Spellbomb. I don't know if it's going to be fast enough. Taking 4. Next turn I can block with Emry, Tamiyo, and Construct did not be dead if I brick completely. So we get to draw 2 cards, which notably does not flip the Tamiyo. 1, 2. Should target the Bauble, I don't really care. It's just not going to be relevant, I think. Okay, I found the Boomerang Basics. Okay, this is easy mode, is finding Boomerang Basics or something like it. So Boomerang Basics, the Tamiyo, so the Needle on Tamiyo, +1. Attack with our Tamiyo. I guess I will play Claws, Legend Rule Opal, even though I'm not gonna I think I need to keep the other mana available for Construct plus Spell Pierce. I guess this would let me Construct plus Clue Token. Don't really need to fear the Saga. They did draw a land here. Their hand is Pithing Needle Mystery card, so maybe they're gonna go play a spell. Yeah, play a spell so they can redeploy the needle. Thankfully, we have the Spell Pierce. All right, and then they concede. Another grindy game. My main plan in this matchup was to try to Mystical Dispute them. I'm going to bring in the Shadowspear. I'm going to bring in a Needle for their explosives. I think I'll bring in the Vexing Bauble also and just kind of find a sack kind of aggressively, I think. Gonna cut my haste card. Gonna leave in my other counter spells. I think the Spell Pierces are fine. Maybe I can trim 1. Maybe I can trim 1. I weirdly think playing Kappa Cannoneer kind of plays into their game plan. I think I'll trim a Claws, I'll trim an Opal, trim an Amber just against the explosives, be like a little bit less weak to those. Not sure. Weirdly, like I used to think that Flip Erayo was bad in this matchup, and like it was just like this is why like the matchup would be bad. But I kind of found the Flip Erayo is good. It's like just you get to games like this a lot where they're top decking and they can't get through anything, and like they dump their hand so fast that Flip Erayo ends up being good. Maybe that's a good way to say it. So this is, I mean, gotta be a keep, I think. Could flip Tamiyo turn 2 or play Emry turn 1. It's probably got to be play Emry, but let me see what we draw. Draw Island. We'll play Island. I think I'm going to just go for the Emry. We mill an Opal, we mill a Needle. So I guess I may not, oh, maybe I shouldn't have sacked. at all. So turn 2, they play Emissary. Then they play second Emissary. Okay, well, we do have the Tamiyo in our hand. Explosives on 0. Yeah, I get really punished for sacking my bauble, huh? Because I'd want to just go, like, play Opal. I'm going to leave this bubble uncracked. So can I have Counterspell up and flip Tamiyo next turn? I think the Claws lets me, so I can go play Claws. Yeah, this is fine. Go play Claws, play Opal. Play Sync untapped. Hold up Counterspell too. I'm one spell short of flipping the Erayo. Cannoneer in hand too. Wait, well, how do we know they have Cannoneer? They would have played Kappa instead of the second Emissary, right? So they play Springs untapped. Gab, thanks for the raid. Playing a Loki artifact control build here. Could take 8. Have Tamiyo to contain this next turn. Gotta crack the Bauble end of turn. Okay, so we go Counterspell, Emissary. Go to instep. Take a look at their top card. It's an Urza Saga. That's a really good one. Draw our second card for turn in our draw step. Play Tamiyo. So I'm going to draw my extra card off the Claws. Do I play Bauble so I make mana first? I don't know that there's a way for me to flip the Erayo here. So make a mana. Flip the Tamiyo. We draw Boomerang Basics. So I guess we'll be using that to... I guess we'll be using that for the Erayo flip next turn, maybe? So just play Claw. So we know that they're drawing Urza Saga. I've not played the Magda build yet, no. May play that tomorrow. They have explosives on 1. Although they have Kappa Cannoneer. How did you know they had Kappa Cannoneer, Chatter? So yeah, someone told me Dak Vaden was playing Kid Loki in the Professor deck. It's interesting. Because like, why would it? Oh, I saw it off Bauble. Oh my gosh, sorry. I totally blanked on the Bauble. I don't think there was a way to Erayo flip this turn though. I do think we could have maneuvered this game much better, for sure. So I'm not gonna have enough to flip Erayo and Boomerang Basics the Kappa Cannoneer. I could Boomerang Basics it this turn. Maybe I just leave it in play for a turn. The construct tokens are going to be pretty tough to beat. / impossible, I guess. I guess I can block the Kappa Cannoneer because they're probably not going to be resolving any spells this turn. Oh, they can make a construct. But if they make a construct main phase, maybe I can basics that. Maybe I should Needle Urza Saga. Okay, yeah, so yeah, let's go Needle Urza Saga then. Maybe this game's more winnable than I thought. Needle Urza Saga. Then we can play Tamiyo, flip Erayo. And then the Tamiyo, it's possible they could double spell to get to get through the Erayo to trigger Kappa Cannoneer. But next turn we can cast a Mox Amber Yard and Boomerang Basics the Kappa, maybe. Maybe they'll just be able to haste. They have another Saga. I mean, good thing it's needled. If we could perhaps try to ultimate the Tamiyo, that might be able to lock them out of the game. Let's see what they're drawing. If it's a land, we can feel really comfortable that the Erayo will lock it down here. It's a Bauble. Sorry, we don't know the other card, right? Yeah, we do. We knew about the Saga. And apparently we knew about this Kappa. So if they have another spell, they can, or I mean, they could just go Bauble, Kappa Cannoneer, get me here. Yeah, I agree that they're probably gonna Needle, but maybe that's a good reason to just save the Boomerang Basics. Like, I don't actually die to the Kappa Cannoneer, and neither does Tamiyo, right? 6, 7, yeah. Let me look at my top card. It's Otawara. So I could bounce this Urza Saga in their upkeep, maybe. Maybe. I don't know if that makes that much sense. What's the other claws or a vacuum? Claws cycles. And you could replay it off Emry. And it triggers Loki. But you don't want to main deck Ghost Vacuum. You need to be able to cycle, and the matchups these cards are bad. I like that we can, like, we have these sagas needled, and when we want to win the game with our sagas, we can just bounce our needle. And needle the explosives. Can Otawara bounce Saga? So it doesn't say non-land. It bounces artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. It's very weird. It's like these are the permanent types, right? I don't know why it doesn't say non-land permanent. It doesn't make much sense. Like, am I missing a type? Creature, artifact, enchantment. I mean, that's all of them. But they get Opal? Opal so they can play Emissary, I guess. Did they board out their needle, maybe? So now they're going to go... Oh, battles. Yeah, you can bounce land creatures or enchantment creatures. So they're going to play Emissary. This is going to get Kappa to 7 power. And then they're going to cast... They're going to cast Bauble, which will get it to 9 power. So they have to attack the... They have to attack the Tamiyo. Because the Tamiyo +1 does save me. Bouncing the Emissary in response didn't do anything there, if you were thinking that that saved me. So they do attack Tamiyo. So I can go Otawara my own Tamiyo here. And then can just flip it next turn. The problem is the Kappa Cannoneer will kill me next turn. Is it... Maybe it's possible for me to flip Tamiyo and Boomerang Basics the Kappa. So I have 6 mana if I'm playing a Mox off the Emry, so I can go... Yeah, so I mean, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work, is it? Maybe I could flip Tamiyo and equip Shadowspear to Emry and attack and gain 2 life. Do I have to flip Tamiyo to survive? Kinda. Maybe I could. I guess I could block the Kappa Cannoneer, but this is gonna trigger. Okay, I'm gonna go play Tamiyo. I think I have to Boomerang Basics the claws. Maybe I just draw a card. Let's just draw a card. Drew Vexing Bauble. Okay, let's flip the Tamiyo. I drew a land. So I think I technically survive if I play equip Shadowspear to Emry and attack for 2, and I lose my Emry. So I don't love this play. I don't see another play that lets me survive for a turn. I feel like I'm playing Cube. They almost unblocked there. I guess we have game 3 also. Emissary attacks. Oh, yeah, right. The Emissary. Okay. Yeah, I guess the Emissary. We were dead on the block then. Don't think there was a way to get out of that. Maybe I do want Consign so I can bounce Kappa. We just have a lot of counter spells for Kappa. I think we could just try to lean on that. I think that's probably the best plan. Kappa's a pretty dumb card. Had to fix my sleep schedule so I can watch the funny modern man in person. Let's go, Aquan. Reminded me to drink water. You know, maybe Consign is better than Pierce. Like, Pierce does counter Pierce does counter weapons, but Consign counters Saga triggers and Kappa Cannoneer ward in addition to just the colorless cards. I've been thinking more about the Solitude Consign to Memory thing against Kappa Cannoneer. The more I think about it, the better I think it is. Just your ability to go evoke Solitude against Kappa Cannoneer and then replicate Consign to keep your Solitude and kill the Kappa. Seems like it's a pretty good plan. Not that, that's relevant for this deck, of course. Let's keep this. I'm a little bit interested in holding up Consign on turn 1. I think it's probably better to just get the Tamiyo down. I'm gonna wait on the Bauble for the Loki. Maybe they play like Vexing Bauble. 3 cards to kill a Kappa. Well, it's kill a Kappa, but you get to keep a Solitude in play. So you get to kill Kappa and you get to keep you get to keep a 3/2 lifelinker. So it's a 3 for 2. So you down a card, but you dealt with a Kappa Cannoneer for 2 mana and you have a Solitude in play. I feel like it's good-ish. It's close enough, maybe. So my opponent hasn't been blocking Tamiyo when I attack into 3 drones. I don't know if I'm supposed to like think that they'll continue to not block. Are we not at a null territory? You should play Mystical Dispute instead of a null. So I guess it's better to upkeep the Bauble for the Tamiyo to flip easier on my next turn. Get to draw a card off the Loki, of course. A null could be good, though. A null maybe is just underplayed. It is like the only card that counters all of their payoffs. Yeah, counting weapons, Emissary Kappa is pretty nice. Doesn't counter Saga, I guess. So make it to bounce a Kappa and Consign. I don't know. We're pretty cooked. Gets bombardment. I'm not going to board in a null against Boros Energy. Might try to Consign the ability for Saga to make tokens. See, I draw 2 cards. Mox Amber is not a bad card. So let's go. I think what I'll do is I'm going to go play Emry for 1. Oh, wait. Oh, I only have 1 artifact? Okay, I guess I go play Tamiyo, make another artifact. Sure. So I played 1 spell this turn. I can go Erayo, Emry, but then I don't have the mana to Otawara. Consign. I can go Erayo plus Otawara, draw a card. 1, 2. Then if I drew a land, I could play Emry. Okay, I think I'm just kind of in on trying to draw the land here, or the Opal or Amber. Nice. Okay, so now I can play Erayo and flip. Or sorry, wait. Oh, wait, that was my 3rd spell? Oh, dude, I was counting Otawara as a spell. Damn. Sorry about that. I don't know why I was counting it as a spell. It's obviously not. Punt? I don't know. I don't know that my line is. I don't know what I do instead. Maybe it's a punt. Can I consign Emry trigger to flip? I didn't have another mana after I played Emry here. So they did not trigger Kappa Cannoneer. I guess I'm jumping with Erayo. So now let's go get Aether Spellbomb. Oh my gosh, I got a good play. Red alert. Okay, so grab Aether Spellbomb. Although maybe I'm just supposed to... So I'm thinking what I can do is I can go Aether Spellbomb on their turn. I can go spin to blue, Aether Spellbomb, the Kappa Cannoneer. And I could do this... I could do this in their main phase, actually. I could do this in their main phase, so I can copy Replicate. I can copy the Replicate to counter this Saga chapter, and I can also hold up Consign. So I guess we'll go... Maybe I'll Needle Explosives. Is needling explosives good? Do I care about explosives? I don't think I care that much about it. All right, we'll just bobble then. Okay, they're just gonna crypt, that's fine. Okay, so we're gonna play the sink. I mean, yeah, nothing we could do about crypt. I can attack for 2. These don't get blocked. Okay, so in their main phase, this triggers on the stack. We go Aether Spellbomb, target Kappa Cannoneer. We draw a card off the Loki. I guess we should do that. Let that resolve first. And then it can seem like we drew the Consign. Oh, play Otawara as a land instead of bounce, I see. But then we don't get to draw the card. We needed the card off the Loki. Okay, so let's go. Replicate. Yeah, fun line for sure. We have Emry Spellbomb still. Has anyone tested Monstrous Vortex with Trudge? If you cast a creature spell, mana power 5, discover X, where X is that spell's mana value. Pretty cool. Bummer that they had their own dispute, but we could hopefully they don't have another blue source. They did miss a land last turn. Okay. So they replay the Cannoneer. Dude, dispute blue source was tough here. Let me grab Aether Spellbomb. Cast Spellbomb, and I think I'm just gonna bounce a token, trigger Loki. And now I've drawn Boomerang Basics, so I could maybe bounce this and Consign. Seems kind of easy for them to haste it again. Maybe I want to bounce the Consign anyways. I think I've got enough loyalty that I can kind of tank a bit here. Maybe I'll draw a Relic or Bauble or something. I guess that's kind of good. Yeah, I think I have enough loyalty to tank a hit here. If I just draw a mana, I could bounce and then dispute, but kind of want to keep the Aether Spellbomb value going. So it's not that much value. I guess the safe line is double Consign the ward and keep up dispute. It's the safe line. I think it's the wrong line though. It's hard. Like they missed a land drop last turn. It's so hard to play around. Needle plus blue source, or sorry, dispute plus blue source. So they needle Aether Spellbomb, which probably is worse than naming Emry. I guess they have their own Emrys. So right now the Kappa is hitting my Tamiyo for 5. They have 4 cards in their hand. They play a second Islet. They play a second Kappa Cannoneer, which we're going to get to dispute. Hopefully this resolves. They left up 2 mana, so it's just a little scary. Does resolve. What's their last card? Is it Weapons? We haven't seen a Weapons this match. Obviously, I mean, it should be in the deck. Yeah, we could have brought back Consign and stopped the search too. My Tamiyo dies, which is a little awkward, but maybe that's fine. It was good if we knew our top card was Dispute. Okay, so my Tamiyo gets hit for 5, down to 3 loyalty. So I still have the ability to pick up the Consign, but they could just replay the Kappa again. Except for red. The Galvanic Blast the Tamiyo, okay. So I draw Counterspell. It's not ideal, but I guess I'm going to bounce the Needle. I think I'm going to be main phasing the sack of Aether Spellbomb so that I can maybe draw a Bauble and draw 2 cards. Or I guess hit my land drop's fine. And then I'm going to try to counter the Needle on the way down. I might just be able to pay for ward on the Kappa. Maybe we could start doing that like every turn. Definitely countering the Needle. They only have 1 card in their hand. I guess they have an Emissary in the Warp Zone that they could play this turn. It's a problem for sure. They attack me for 8, down to 8. I guess I'm always playing this. I guess I just have to go bounce, pay for ward. Maybe I can draw Dispute number 3. Draw Otawara. I mean, maybe if I can find another Tamiyo to flip, I can bounce the Kappa every turn. A little ambitious. How many Tamiyos do I have left? 3? Should Dress Down be a more dex? Maybe. I mean, it's not that... Like, Kappa is still, like, hard to kill, even if it Dress Down's in play. Oh, what? So they have... Why did they tap the Emissary? They're floating a mana. Then they sack an Islet. Okay, weird sequencing. Probably incorrect. Then they play another Saga. Ah. Okay, 5/5 Kappa. Let's see what we draw. Draw Minamo. It's an interesting one. I mean, I think we're gonna have to Aether Spellbomb again. Okay. And then I guess we will Otawara the Urza Saga and their upkeep. Draw a card off the Loki. Played a little bit with Kid Loki. I don't really know exactly how I feel about it. Really tried my best this game. They were making me work for it. I boarded out my haste land, or my haste equipment, which maybe would have been the answer. So they play the Saga again. They'll play the Kappa Cannoneer again. Yeah, I mean, if I could find exactly my other, or one of my other Tamiyos, I think we have a solid chance. Beyond that, I'm trying to figure out like what we could do. Maybe Saga token, Shadowspear equip, flip Erayo is good. I think that's good enough if I think that's good enough if I draw a Counterspell. I don't think the sync is working enough. I'm taking 6 also here down to 2, so the sync is not able to be played untapped. So I draw Mox Amber. So one thing I could maybe do is I could maybe target Aether Spellbomb, then untap the Emry with Minamo to just see what I draw for the Loki. I guess I'm going to do that. Draw an Opal. So do we feel like make a Saga token, equip a Shadowspear? I mean, it just doesn't work because I'm just dead to the drone tokens. So it seems like that will never be a winning line. So let's just float mana. So I've already drawn a card this turn. So I guess there's no way for me to. I guess there's no way for me to win, right? Because I can't draw Tamiyo and flip Tamiyo. Okay, tough stuff. Okay, I do think the deck is maybe a little too spinny, despite Loki being good here. I think I'm just gonna pivot over again. Saw the name of Mono Blue deck on YouTube. Thoughts on how good a shit like that is? I don't know. It felt solid in the challenge yesterday. It felt bad against Boros though. We went 3-0 to 3-2 against Boros twice. We trophy.